The mayor of Johannesburg, Dada Morero, has also arrived at that engagement that the ANC president, Cyril Ramaphosa, is expected to have. We're hoping to cross to Samkele Maseko in just about a moment. We're hoping that he'll be able to be in conversation with Dada Morero. And in fact, it does look like my colleague Samkele Maseko is headed towards him. And we will cross to Samkele in just about a moment. I'm hoping he is still able to hear me now. Let's hand over to Samkele Maseko.
Well, thanks, Samkele. I think the president is also attending the foundation course, which is hosted in the branch for the entire zone. Secondly, to interact with the branch and the structures, to assess where the structures are as part of the renewal of the ANC. Basically, that's where he is. And of course, over and above is the engagements on the work that we are doing in government and in the city of Johannesburg. Those are some other issues that the president may not necessarily focus on. He's basically focusing on party work today.
Looking at the issues pertaining to government, Mr. Morero, particularly when he spoke to you in the council chambers, he did not have pleasant words about the city of Joburg. You expressed that he recently called you after the international ministers G20 meeting. What are some of the work that you've been trying to put in to try and make sure the city is up to standard before that G20 summit?
Well, you know that we have taken a view to accelerate service delivery in all our areas. We've got 7 regions in the city and we are focusing on it. We have made sure that we spread throughout. Of course, the major work has been in the inner city or based on our program of reclaiming the inner city of Johannesburg. So over and above, we're ensuring now that the rains have also subsided, making our work quite easier in terms of dealing with potholes, dealing with road surfacing, street lights. On Friday, I was just launching street lights in Midrand, so we're advancing on that project and we think we're doing well. We just need to ensure that we're constantly giving feedback to our residents.
Looking at the city and the infrastructure that is dilapidating, how much resources, monetary-wise, may not have the figure at the top of your head, but roughly how much do you need to make sure that the infrastructure is up to standard to provide for the high migration of people that are coming into the metropolis of Johannesburg?
Well, our current backlog, if you think about it, is just around 27 billion. And that's basically on the water infrastructure. And you are correct, the migration of people into the city is putting a strain onto our infrastructure and is forcing us to try and invest more because the urbanization that is currently happening, it's unplanned and which creates a major problem on our infrastructure. Around electricity, you're looking at around the same figure, which is around possibly about 40 billion in terms of the investment that we need to do. So generally, the infrastructure, all in all, we're looking at about a 200 billion backlog that needs to be addressed. But where we are now, we are launching a 100 billion program to raise at least 100 billion in the next 5 years with an intention to start investing into our infrastructure. So that is the focus we're doing. And you'd see in the next financial year of 2027, you'll see we'll be increasing on our capital expenditure precisely because we are now focused on dealing with the infrastructure.
City Power has been in the news for all the wrong reasons. Allegations of companies being paid millions of rands for work not done. What are some of the fraud allegations? What are you doing on some of the fraud allegations that are currently taking place at the city's power utility, City Power?
Well, some of the allegations were just wild allegations, by the way, but we took a view that let's investigate those we think have substance. In most of the projects of the city, we have instances, especially in electricity, where we are building a substation and therefore equipment and materials have to be ordered overseas because some of it you don't find it locally. So in that case, it then forces the city to advance certain portions of money to the contractors so that they can order the equipment at home. So at times you'd find that it could be reported as that people have been paid, when work has not been done, which is not entirely true. But where there are instances or where money was paid and no work was done, we will be able to confirm through our investigations. And of course, once we have confirmation, we'll deal with those that are involved.
There have been serious allegations against the acting chief operations officer of the city, Ms. Helen Boertes. What are some of these particular allegations? Has she been cleared of some of these allegations that Ms. Boertes has been facing?
Well, they continue to be persistent when in fact those matters were closed by the SIU. A report was presented to the board of JPC. The board of JPC assessed the matter and came to a conclusion that these are not matters of substance. Therefore, the matters were closed, I think already just around 2022. And I think at that time the mayor was Mayor Palazzi. So it was closed. So we do not know why they continue to be rehashed. Is it an agenda against her or what is it? But from where we are, we do know that the matters were closed. Allegations are allegations until they are proven and are subjected to a test. And in this case, she was subjected to a test. And those matters were in relation to the pricing during COVID in terms of, I think that they were doing some work and fumigating in the taxi ranks. And I think at that time there were no standard amounts to be allocated to that type of work. And I think it's only now that moving forward we'll have PIQs and amounts allocated for particular work in relation to fumigation. So I think the matters were closed from where I'm standing as the mayor around 2022, 2023. So it's quite surprising that they continue to be rehashed.
Looking at the city, the officials, have you finalized the process of getting a permanent city manager for the city? Have you gone out on advert to get the city manager in place to make sure that the work of bringing back the glory days of Johannesburg are brought back?
The advert closed on Monday, on the 31st. So we'll then be undertaking a process of shortlisting. But I might be upfront with you, we really need a very strong person because whoever we are appointing, we're only appointing for until the elections. So we need a very strong, competent administrator. And that's the view we are taking. We'll not compromise or rather drop the ball in terms of who are we going to appoint.
We are only appointing a person on an interim basis until the elections. Then post the elections, you'll be looking at getting someone for a 5-year term of that particular administration.
Yeah, remember we are governed by Systems Act and all that, and regulations from COPTA that would suggest that as you are nearer elections, you can't give a person 5 years because in 2026 we're going to elections. So it's basically between now in elections and 6 months after the elections. So it's basically two years period that we're appointing, and the new government will then have an opportunity to appoint someone on a 5-year fixed term contract.
Looking at back to political matters, this particular program, you're heading towards a regional conference. How far are you with preparations for that regional conference? I'm told you are standing again as the regional chair of Joburg.
Yes, I am standing for the position of chair. We have approved the roadmap which went through the Regional Executive Committee and was also presented to the PTT. The target date is around June, but if we're unable to meet June, we'll then extend it to September.
Thank you very much, Mr. Dada Morero. That is the regional chair and the mayor of the city of Johannesburg. This is the arrival of the provincial, the PTT convener, rather co-convener of Gauteng, Mr. Panyaza Hendrik Lesufi. He is arriving here for this visit of President Cyril Ramaphosa. He is also under fire by the President Griselda of late, particularly on matters pertaining to the governance of the economic hub of the country. He was saved by President Ramaphosa in the ANC deliberations when it came to the matters of governance within the city, within the Gauteng province, and also the provincial structure of Gauteng, which pretty much related to the performance of the ANC in the recent elections. He is seemingly now being given the responsibility of trying to lead the structures of the ANC with Amos Masondo, who is a former mayor of the city of Johannesburg and a veteran politician within the structures of the African National Congress. His security there seemingly perplexed at why we are coming to the doorstep of Hendrik Lesufi. He is being greeted by Sasa Bonabangani, who is the regional secretary. Mr. Lesufi, don't run away. Don't run. Mr. Lesufi, don't run. He is seemingly running away from the questions we are going to pose to him, but we're not going to leave him. Griselda, we are going to go to him. He did tweet some controversial things, particularly about being vindicated when it comes to the issues of the Democratic Alliance and the DA not voting with the ANC on the issue of the fiscal framework of the country. And we will pose those particular questions to him. He is going to go and greet some of the leaders who are gathered here for this program of the president of the African National Congress, engaging with this particular branch of the ANC within this Ward 11 of Johannesburg. We will engage with him. He is greeting other individuals who are gathered here. Mr. Lesufi, you see, you are running away from the SABC. Mr. Lesufi, you said that you are vindicated with the DA not voting with the ANC there on the fiscal framework. What are you vindicated about?
Yes. How's your Sunday morning?
It's great, Mr. Lesufi. What are you vindicated about? Tell me.
Chiefs disappointed you yesterday, ne?
They disappointed me. I
They
suppose
always
she's
do,
doing.
unfortunately.
I get you soul swallows.
Yeah.
What are you vindicated
Later.
about?
We'll speak later. Don't know.
We are running away.
What's up,
Panyaza Lesufi there seemingly not willing to speak on the matters pertaining to that issue of the fiscal framework within the country, when the Democratic Alliance decided to vote against the ANC on that particular issue. They refused to work with the Democratic Alliance in the province of Gauteng.
Samkele, thank you very much indeed. Samkele Maseko, really trying to get some, interviews in there, but we're hearing from the Gauteng Premier, of course, Panyaza Lesufi, that he's likely to speak to the media a little bit later on, perhaps maybe after the ANC president has arrived there. You'd recall, of course, that, Gauteng, of course, had not been party, had been very much against, the ANC being in this government of national unity with the Democratic Alliance. Panyaza Lesufi was leading basically that charge, and Samkele Maseko asking him about a tweet about vindication. And let's see if we'll get answers a little bit later on from him on exactly what he feels vindicated about. But in that particular context, given that the ANC in Gauteng had been against the ANC, forming this alliance, this government of national unity with the DA, it'll be very interesting to hear the remarks if he does speak to my colleague Samkele Maseko a little bit later on. Of course, that would be Panyaza Lesufi. We're still waiting for the ANC president to arrive there. A number of domestic as well as international issues that we're hoping our colleagues will be able to pose to the ANC president, who's also the president of the country.